How are you doing over there?
Okay.
How does it feel over there?
I'm questioning why I'm here right now. I don't know right now my purpose, but
we're happy to have you.
When you went on your trip, did you see a lot of prostitutes?
Why do you ask that? Do I look like a prostitute right now? Because I feel like one. I feel like I look like a prostitute.
I'm just trying to engage the audience. I think that's something that would get.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in the red light district, and yeah, well, there weren't. I mean,
Is it like? Do you want to tell them about your trip, or would that take away from the mystery of?
No, I don't really care. Yeah, I lived in Buenos Aires. I lived in the red light district for a long time. So I went on this Argentine Craigslist, and I found these people that were renting a room, for pretty cheap, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that. It was really scary, but
were you sketched out when you went there the first time?
When I got there, and they were really nice, and I felt like, oh, cool, this is really exciting kind of thing. So, they showed me my room, and it has a balcony, and everything was so, I guess, bohemian. It looked cool, I guess. And I take a nap, and I wake up, and I'm like, oh, I'm really cold, because I left in the middle of July, which is their winter, and so I put on a sweater, and I'm like, yo, it's really cold in here. Are we gonna how do you turn on the heat? And they're like, there is no heat. And it's the middle of winter, and it would go down to 35 degrees in the middle of the night. And I had this balcony with these windows that would just, there's no, you could feel every gust of wind. I slept in my coat and jeans, and I would wear sweatpants.
Did you ever acclimate yourself to it, or?
Oh yeah.
Every night was like, oh shit.
Yeah, they're like, don't worry, you'll get used to it, because you just came back from the summer, and you're just your body's just weak to it right now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here?
You hated living with hippies.
And I don't like hippies.
How hippie what's an Argentine hippie like?
It's the same thing. They just...
Do they smell the same way?
They this is what... I don't know, because I got strep throat a week into it, because my body was constantly trying to I was living in 45 degree weather. I don't know, but they're the same. It was just weird.
Do they look the same as?
Yeah. It's just
Do they have tie dye? Do they smell like hippie smell?
They're just contemporary hippies now, earth tones.
Okay.
Long hair.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know.
Patchouli.
I don't know, not patchouli.
It was probably too cold to smell.
It was too cold, because you can't smell anything after with so many. They would wear so much. They'd be like, oh, I'm so cold, and drink a lot of tea. And that's not. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I rather just. Can you just I don't get it. We had wireless internet and we didn't have heat. And so I noticed something was wrong. I just didn't like these people. I was sitting. I bought a space heater. Oh, and I also didn't have electrical outlets in my room.
Sounds like a great accommodation.
Yeah, for the first day I bought this space heater. I'm like, oh, okay, I can deal with 2 months with this, space heater. I'll be fine. It's no big deal. I'm not this yuppie or anything. I can deal with this. And I turn it on, and all of a sudden these shocks and I smell burnt rubber.
They probably would have lit your golden curls.
Yeah, right. And so I'm in the living room, huddled, next to the space heater on my laptop, chatting, looking for some apartment in Craigslist, and they're and I noticed what do you the guy's name was Julian. I was like, what are you reading? And he was like, oh, the surrealist papers in French. And I'm like, you would be reading that.
Hey, as some of you may be aware, Dave Padre was supposed to be another guest on the show tonight, and I'm sad to inform you that Dave Padre is not actually behind the curtain. He had to work. So
saving lives.
Yeah, we'll save him for another show. Possible rebuttals for what we're about to say next, because I think we should talk about Struction.
Oh.
I'd love talking about Struction. Can we talk about Struction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
I fucking love Struction.
Oh, man.
Struction was an Albany band first time I saw them was at Professor Java's in 2000.
That's hilarious. Can't imagine that.
Can't imagine. Like, you could not, these days, you could not fit Dave Podred in Professor Java's, just because, I mean, not physically,
He's
but
taller.
yeah, and they have low ceilings. But Struction lasted up until about 2006.
Great band.
Great Albany
Great band.
noise rock band. So,
Is it still going?
what?
No.
It isn't?
The show?
No, Struction.
Oh, yeah. The show always goes.
Oh, wait, did we
Struction.
change the top?
No, yeah,
okay.
or yes. No.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool. It was a segue or something. Maybe we should turn the globe.
Oh shit.
Ocean. Struction likes the ocean.
Yeah, well, it was great just to have Dave, like, prime Dave Podred in Albany.
Mhm. If Dave Podred was here tonight, what do you think he would have said?
He would have fed the fires and
Yeah.
someone would have left.
This
already.
globe would be burning right now if Dave Podred was here. Struction, I think, was pretty great because I think they were, I mean, largely, like, unmatched in, like, sound.
And I think they kind of raised the bar for a lot of
Mhm.
bands who kind of paid attention to that stuff, you know, like
Mhm.
the 4 or 5 bands who did, like, there was like a point where they kind of took it to this level where it was like, oh shit. And
I mean, Struction's music was really like the realities of like Paul Hill, Miara, and Dave.
It's
like,
3 people who like wouldn't be friends and like shouldn't have been friends. That none of those people like should be able to talk to one another in a room, and they eventually weren't
and maybe
able
they
to. But for when they could hold their animosity at bay, like it really made something that was great. Maybe that's just the key, like
Yeah.
being in a band with people you hate and like taking that out through music.
And it really I think it was a painful process for all of them in that band, but it yielded some wonderful sonic results, I think.
it always felt like you know, those songs were like they were Dave and Miara would be singing and Paul would be playing drums. Like it seemed like they hated each other so much, and they were kind of like taking it out on each other's ears.
And a lot of it was like their Albany realities, like being like, just like, you could see like Albany in their heads being like wrestled with and like.
Just like the beauty of Paul Hill being like just some dude, you know, who's like a super talented musician who can like pick up anything and do it. And it's just, you know, like lived in Albany his whole life, and like in Albany, like that's, you know, it doesn't matter if you're really good at something.
Mm-hmm.
You can take something as far as you want, and like you're still just gonna get like 8 people at your show, and no one gives a shit. And like, I don't know if I just lost my point, but like, that was like kind of the beauty of all those people. It's like they all had these like, they all like were very much types you meet around here, like people who from the city who move up here to go to SUNY, or people from like outside the city who move up here to go to SUNY, and just like don't really finish and just stay here and work shitty jobs and like drink, you know. It's like, but I mean, every band in Albany is basically some combination of that, but the way that they sounded and the way that they kind of like carried themselves, I think were something like really special, like a really special distillation of that.